started. So the main motivation was that how do we actually utilize photonics more usefully compared to electronics? So that was the beginning of this work. Photonic computing is the computing that you do using the light. And light actually has a lot of different functionalities, like wavelengths, which is basically colors. So if you see different colors, that means that the light has a different wavelength. But there's another very important parameter, which is polarization, just like you wear polarized sunglasses. However, this very important fundamental property has not been given to any photonic computing yet. So the main functionality is how do we use this polarization of light into photonic computing? We basically used something very thin wire, which we call nanowire, because it's in a scale of nanometer, which is more than like 500 times smaller than human hair. So we use this special nanowire, which actually can change the state from 0 to 1, depending on the incoming polarization. We eventually use this for photonic computing. So imagine that a single ray of light is coming into your device. However, you have different polarizations going in. And each polarization do not talk to each other. So one polarization and the other polarization never interact each other. So that means even we send a single ray of light, if we utilize two different polarization, our information processing it can be doubled. So we can actually maximize how much information can be processed in a single chip. So that's how we used this concept, mainly for photonic computing. Yeah. So if you imagine back like 50 years ago, the computer was as big as a one large room. Now you can see that it's a very small chip. And now if you look at the fundamental research, it's now even within a nanometer scale. So computing density means how much functionalities can be given in a certain given scale. However, what we do is we also decrease the size of our computing process, so which can maximize computing density. But at the same time, we increase the functionalities by using polarization. So what we have is a nanometer scale, which is 100 to 200 nanometer. However, as I said, what we are trying to do is maximizing the computing functionalities. So if you think about this as a fraction, what we have as a numerator is computing functionality divided by the size of our chip. What we are maximizing is the numerator, the computing functionalities. So in that sense, if you calculate that, computing density can be much more maximized to electronics. Even though they can get smaller, they cannot really increase the functionalities on a numerator to a certain level. So that's the main idea. And we believe since this is only a foundation work, if we use this polarization to more number of different directions, I think we can even increase this further. So if we compare with other computing processors, like from Google or from NVIDIA, where they have of course, their core computing processor, our chip is found to be several orders higher in computing density compared to theirs. Although, of course, it's our estimate, so much more investigation is needed to verify this experimentally. But if we only look at the concept, it's several orders higher than those in electronics. Yeah.